Have you ever wondered if we could ride on Saturn's rings? Imagine, just for a moment, the thrill of gliding along those shimmering bands of cosmic dust and ice. The very idea sparks a sense of adventure, doesn't it? Space exploration has always been a captivating journey, filled with enigmas waiting to be solved. Our solar system, a vast expanse of celestial bodies and phenomena, holds countless mysteries, one of which is the enchanting allure of Saturn's rings. Well, let's unravel the mystery together. Scene script. Saturn, the sixth planet from the Sun, is most recognized for its stunning rings. Situated in the far reaches of our solar system, Saturn is a true spectacle. It's the second largest planet, only outdone by Jupiter. It's nestled between the fifth planet, Jupiter, and the seventh, Uranus. This gas giant is over 9 times the size of Earth, and it takes a staggering 29.5 Earth years for it to complete one orbit around the Sun. That's almost 3 decades for a single Saturn year. Now let's talk about the most distinctive feature of Saturn, its rings. These remarkable structures are what make Saturn instantly recognizable. They extend up to 175,000 miles from the planet, but are astonishingly thin, with an average thickness of just about 30 feet. That's equivalent to the length of a school bus. These rings form a sort of celestial ballet, creating a spectacle of light and shadow that's simply mesmerizing. They are not solid, but rather composed of countless particles orbiting Saturn. They range in size from tiny dust-like grains to colossal blocks as big as mountains. Their shimmer is due to the reflection of sunlight off these icy particles. And while these rings might look serene from a distance, they're actually quite a lively place. The particles in the rings are constantly colliding, merging, and breaking apart. This dynamic environment creates a breathtaking display of cosmic artistry. But what sets these rings apart is not just their beauty, it's their mystery. They've fascinated astronomers and space enthusiasts for centuries, and they continue to intrigue us today. So, we've established that Saturn is a gas giant with a stunning set of rings, but the key question remains: what are these rings made of? Are they solid? Could we, in theory, ride on them? Or are they something else entirely? But what are these rings made of, you might wonder? Saturn's rings are not solid as they appear from a distance, but are composed of countless small particles. Now, you might be wondering, what are these particles made of? Well, these particles are mainly composed of water ice, with a sprinkling of rocky material. Quite fascinating, isn't it? These particles vary in size, from tiny grains, smaller than a grain of sand, to colossal chunks as large as mountains. Just imagine a mountain-sized chunk of ice revolving around a planet millions of miles away from us. It's quite a cosmic spectacle. Now let's talk about the dance these particles perform. Each particle follows its own elliptical orbit around Saturn, like a tiny moon. They constantly collide, veer off, and recollide, creating a vibrant and dynamic environment. This constant churning is what gives the rings their structure and shape. It's like a celestial ballet, choreographed by the laws of physics. But why do these rings shine so brightly, even though they're so far away from the Sun? Well, it's all about reflection. These icy particles act like billions of tiny mirrors reflecting sunlight back towards us. The result is a magnificent display of light that can be seen from millions of miles away. It's as if Saturn is wearing a crown of diamonds, sparkling in the black velvet of space. What's more, the rings aren't uniformly composed. Some parts are denser than others, and these variations in density cause the rings to have different brightness levels. This results in the stunning striations that we see when we look at images of Saturn's rings. So here we have it, a gargantuan cosmic structure made up of billions of tiny ice particles, each following its own path, reflecting sunlight and creating a spectacle of such grandeur that it leaves us in awe. It's a testament to the magnificent beauty and complexity of our universe. So, if they're not solid, can we ride on them? Well, hold that thought as we delve deeper into the mysteries of Saturn's rings in the next scene. Scene script. Despite the mesmerizing idea, we can't ride on Saturn's rings, and here's why. You might envision Saturn's rings as solid disks like cosmic frisbees ripe for a thrilling space ride. But in reality, these rings are not solid at all. Instead, they're composed of countless particles, ranging from tiny, dust-sized grains to massive chunks as big as mountains. These particles are constantly in motion, orbiting Saturn at breakneck speeds. This means there's no solid surface for us to land on, let alone ride on. Moreover, Saturn's rings are not exactly the cozy and hospitable environment we might imagine. They are incredibly cold, with temperatures dipping as low as -273 degrees Celsius. That's colder than anything experienced on Earth. Our bodies, and even our most advanced spacesuits, are not equipped to handle such extreme cold. The high speed of the particle's orbit presents another challenge. Saturn's rings move at speeds of up to tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. Attempting to land on or ride these speeding particles would be like trying to jump onto a bullet train as it speeds past. Even if it were possible to match speeds with the particles, the risks would be immense. A collision with even a small particle could have catastrophic outcomes. While the idea of riding Saturn's rings might make for a great science fiction story, in reality, the risks and challenges are simply too great. The lack of a solid surface, the extreme cold, the high speed of the particle's orbit, and the potential dangers of collision all combine to make this dream an impossibility. So, as tempting as it may be, a ride on Saturn's rings remains in the realm of fantasy. While we can't ride on Saturn's rings, there's plenty more to marvel about this distant planet. Saturn, the sixth planet from the Sun, holds a unique charm in our solar system. Its gigantic size makes it the second largest planet, only losing the title to Jupiter. Saturn spans around 75,000 miles in diameter, which is about 9 times the diameter of Earth. Consequently, you could fit 9 Earths side by side to match the width of Saturn. And did you know that Saturn is the proud parent of a whopping 82 moons? Yes, that's right. With the latest edition of 20 moons discovered in 2019, Saturn outnumbers Jupiter in the moon count, making it the planet with the most moons in our solar system. Now let's talk about Saturn's day and year. If you think 24 hours is too short or too long for a day, Saturn might make you reconsider. A day on Saturn lasts just over 10.5 hours, nearly half the duration of an Earth day. On the flip side, a year on Saturn is a lengthy affair. It takes Saturn 29.5 Earth years to orbit the Sun once. So if you were born on Saturn, you'd probably be waiting quite a while for your first birthday. Here's another fun fact. Despite its massive size, Saturn is less dense than water. If you could find a bathtub big enough, Saturn would float. Its low density is due to its composition, primarily of hydrogen and helium, the two lightest elements in the universe. So even without a ringside ride, Saturn never ceases to amaze us. With its vast size, multiple moons, swift days, lengthy years, and peculiar density, Saturn continues to fascinate us, stirring our curiosity and fueling our desire to learn more about the wonders of our solar system. So there you have it, a journey through the rings of Saturn without leaving Earth. We've embarked on an interstellar trip to the second largest planet in our solar system, a gas giant known for its stunning rings. These rings, while visually spectacular, are composed of ice, rock, and dust particles. Some as tiny as grains of sand, others as large as mountains. However, despite their grandeur, these rings aren't solid or stable enough for us to ride on. They're more like a celestial traffic jam, with particles moving at different speeds and directions. This chaotic environment, coupled with the intense radiation and low gravity, makes the idea of riding on Saturn's rings a beautiful but unfeasible dream. Yet Saturn is more than just its rings. It's a planet with a rich history and fascinating features. For instance, did you know that Saturn is so light that if you could find a bathtub big enough, it would float? Or that it has a whopping 53 confirmed moons? These are just a few of the many intriguing aspects that make Saturn a planet worth exploring. While we may not be able to ride on Saturn's rings, the exploration of our solar system continues to unravel more fascinating mysteries. Until next time, keep wondering, Keep exploring.